me versus me. It's always me versus me. It's always me versus me.
Welcome everybody to the Big Brand Podcast. I am Big Brand, the Jersey man, and this is Big38. And this is my podcast. It's been a long time coming. This has been a long time coming. And if you didn't know, I am very cannabis friendly. And my podcast will be talked about everything and anything that comes to my mind and what I'm going through. And I hope that I can get some listeners and like I said, I want to talk to and communicate with everyone and anyone that would like to listen. So welcome to my podcast again. And I am Big Brand, the Jersey man. You'll notice I wear a jersey in every recording. I'll try to anyway. Sometimes I'm just wearing a t-shirt. I'm just going to keep it a buck 1,000. You hear me? But welcome to my studio. Now, for today's topic, this is my first podcast, number one. So today I am going to be speaking about something that is very, very, very deeply and going on in my life right now, I guess. I almost ran out of words. But again, this is something that is going on with my life right now. And it is the D word. It is the D word. It is a very deep word. And it is depression. Depression. And I know that is a very, very, very sensitive subject in everyone's household, including my household, including your household, including everyone's household. I'm guaranteeing that everyone has this topic of discussion. So I want to speak to you about it. So without any further ado, let me get to it. Welcome to the Big Brand Podcast. Okay, now let's get right into it. Now, for the first part of this, I want to speak on depression, not in a sense of the depression that I'm trying to touch into the basis of what you're going through or what you've went through or anything like that. I want to touch on the basis of what do you consider the time of depression where you need to jump in and find some type of help. And the reason why that is a touchy subject to me is because I just cold turkey quit a depression medicine that I was given. And I'm going to get into that. And that's what this first episode is about. So again, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. This is my first one. So of course it's going to be raw. It's going to be, cut, touch, whatever, however you want to say it, but stick in there with me. I'm going to learn how to do more and more and more. And once I do learn how to do more, I will become better at this, but it is going to be raw and it is just going to be what I feel. So basically, I'll go into the story of what happened. Basically me and my ex, we had a pretty rough breakup, beginning of this year. And so a lot of my life, I've always been with somebody and always had someone there. So I don't take breakups well. And so, I was going through a very rough time. And, I am a Google search person. I don't know if you are, or if you ever, somebody who does, but I love to Google search and I can diagnose. I Google diagnose. I am, and it's something that I'm admitting it to, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. But the thing about that is I only go into things into, certain parts of what I'm feeling. And that's because I don't have a certificate or a scholarship or anything that speaks on any type of knowledge of having any way, shape, form, or fashion of helping someone mentally. So therefore, my whole problem is that, I'm going in and I'm typing and I'm typing and so I typed in a couple things that I was going through, and boop, there you go, popped up on the screen. Depression. I said, oh, I'm depressed. I said, I knew it was what it was. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I'm not a crier. I don't want to sit here and so I told my therapist, true story, shout out to Dr. Lee. I told my therapist, I said, I'm thinking about using medicine. And the response that he gave me, was very he was encouraging, and so I don't want to speak on the fact that he wasn't encouraging. He was very encouraging, and I've been dealing with him for a year and a half, and he's never spoke on any medication or anything like that, but he was encouraging. But he did say that he didn't think that it was necessary at this point. And it was very discouraging to hear him say that. Now, I know that's a contradiction because I just said that he's very encouraging, but this was very discouraging. And if you take therapy, you will understand or come to understand exactly what I am speaking on when I say that. It is very, very touchy when you have a therapist. And the reason why I say that is because, you want your therapist to, kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say like pat you on the back or nothing like that, but you want your therapist to feel like you're growing and you're understanding, and that makes you feel better. So when your therapist kind of throws a wrench into what you're thinking, you don't. It's very discouraging. So when he said that, I'm like, that hurt. But I'm like, you know what? It's me. It's my body. It's my mind. I need to grow. It is a decision that I have to make. So what I did was I went to my doctor and I told my doctor, I said, I think I need depression medication, and my therapist recommended it. True story. True story. And my doctor, without any question, he prescribed me the medicine, and I started on the medication, and I did that for about a month. And so I it came in and I still was playing the game. I still was playing these, the game with the doctors. And so basically what I did was I came back and I was like, you know what, doc, I'm there, but I'm not there. Bad idea. You know what he said? Okay, we're gonna bump it up. Ooh, oh, bump it up. Bump it up. But all along I'm thinking, I want to see pink elephants. I want to walk around and be happy. I want to walk around and smile all the time. And so what I was thinking was that this medication was really going to allow me to do that, right? Bad idea. Bad idea, folks. And I want you guys to know from my experience that is a bad idea. It is a bad idea because this medication is serious. It is very serious. It is unforgiving. You understand what I mean? And so what I did was start to honestly push myself into a depression state where I really started to feel like I was depressed. And what I mean by that is like the first part of me going through these things were basically like me being angry. When you're a person like me who I am a very admitting narcissist at times, and I like to control things. So in my stage, in my where I was going through was more of a fact of I can't control everything, so I'm just mad at anything and I'm mad at everything. It was never about the specific situation that I was in or the person. It was always about my life and trying to put my life back together. And honestly, I was creating a box within myself that was honest. And I hope that I'm making sense. And I'm going to come to a full on have right back to what I was saying. Basically, like I say, I was just in a very, very bad place at that time. And so what I was trying to do, and like a lot of many people others do, I was trying to come up with an excuse to make myself feel as though it was something other than what I was, which was a cheater. If you want me to be honest, I was a cheater. And I'm not laughing about it. And I'm not, it's not cute. I was, and I had insecurities, man. A lot of my insecurities took me to this place. But that's a whole nother story. And we got plenty of time for that. So I hope you come back for that. But getting back to it, you know, this is my question for anybody who's facing depression is that this right here. When you first felt that you were depressed or when you first started, when you was diagnosed with the depression, was this something that you were encouraged to do or was this something that you found yourself telling yourself I'm depressed? Because I guess my question is, when you first say I am depressed, does this mean that you are depressed because of what you're going through, or are you depressed because of trauma? And that's the key right there. And that's what I want to touch on. I want to touch on the depression, and I want to touch on, is it trauma or is it drama? And that's simplifying it. And I'm not making a joke, and it's not a joke. I'm being serious. Is it trauma or is it drama? And I think that that is something that I would love for a lot of people who are facing this to understand, that is it trauma or is it drama? Is it toxicity? Is it toxicity? Because honestly, we can get so addicted to our toxicity that we become depressed, for lack of a better word, because we can't have it. We can't have that toxic energy anymore. And we get so mad. And so then you jump into saying, I am depressed. But, but this is the only thing that I have against people who say they're depressed. And this is what I encourage anyone to rebuttal what I am about to say. Depression is something that is inside of you and that takes a lot of energy, a lot of energy. Listen to what I say. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of dedication and therapy and help to get over depression, people. So why I say that, I want to know, when you say you're depressed, do you understand that no material can make you undepressed? Can you receive that language that no person can make you not be depressed? Can you receive the language that no amount of money can make you not be depressed? And so why I'm saying that, and I wanna reiterate this. The reason why I'm saying that is because this word depression has become so lightly used in heavy situations. And I want everyone to understand that you don't want to indulge in something that is not your playground, because there are people who are truly depressed and they're not just trying to do flips and backflips and and laugh and joke and go get a date and be happy. They're really depressed. They're really depressed. And so that's why I wanted to speak on this, because I had to tell myself that. I had to tell myself that. I said, you have to stop doing that and taking away from people who are truly depressed, because all you want to do is get through a moment. You receive that language? Do you receive that language? There is a time and place for you to get through a moment, but using something that is so serious as in depression, we have to stop doing that. And that is what I am encouraging. I am encouraging every human being to stop falling on this word depression and find out what is truly wrong with you. What is truly wrong with you? What truly happened to you? What truly is hurting you? And if it is depression, then we can speak on depression. Then we can speak on depression. Wiz Khalifa, and that's one of my favorite rappers. I was watching an interview with him the other day, and it wasn't even an interview, it was a clip. And he said something that drew me in, and I love what he said. He said, "Don't stop smoking marijuana for 2 months and then get on social media and say how good you feel and how great it feels to be without marijuana if you have been smoking marijuana for 15 plus years." And that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. I want you guys to listen to the words. You cannot stop doing something for 2 months and then promote being better. You cannot. I am a walking billboard of that. I am a walking billboard of that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I started off by saying I stopped cold turkey. I did. It was Cymbalta. I stopped Cymbalta cold turkey. And I told my doctor this. And my doctor actually looked at me and said, he's never heard of that. He's never heard of someone doing that without needing any help. And as I spoke to him and I said, I am not trying to portray a strong man. I am coming to you apologetic. I am coming to you apologizing for taking advantage of, I consider, the system by allowing myself to play victim and play like I'm depressed when all I was trying to do was find a way out of a moment. Now, do I have things in my life that is drama? Do I have things that in my life that is trauma? Yes, I have. Everyone does. Everyone does. But we have to stop taking away from people who are really harming themselves. And that being said, I want to tell anybody and encourage anybody who's ever thought about suicide to get some help and call the suicide hotline at any point of time. At any point of time, I would love to speak with you. If you would like to call me, I can give you information to call me at times. But I want to encourage anyone that is speaking or thinking or having any thoughts of suicide, I want you to stop right now what you're doing and go get you some help and find you somebody that find you somebody that loves you. And because there is somebody out there that loves you, and I want you to, and my point of that is actually going through things, and we have to stop placing ourselves in people's business that we don't have any point, we don't have no reason to be in. And what I mean by that is lane. You know, when they say stay in your lane, stay in your lane. Stop trying to grab on of it. And if you are, I encourage you to get help. But you cannot keep riding that coattail because there are people that actually need help. And again, this is my first podcast, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. I know it is rather long, and you can cut it up, slut it up, whatever you want to do. But guess what? It's all the truth. It's the big man, Jersey man, big brand, and it's always a pleasure. Love you. Peace.